We're rolling. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of HitaTalk. As you very well know, if you already don't, I'm going to tell you, I am continuing the theme of Twin Cities Wonder Women, and this season is focusing on the mom squad and badass women and moms throughout the Twin Cities who are rocking their businesses. And with me today is a super amazing gal pal of mine, Felicia Schaefer, co-owner of the Twin Cities Road Crew. What's up, girlfriend?
Yeah, woohoo. I feel like I'm at a party right now. That was a really good intro.
Well, thank you. And I will just say we are totally doing all things 2020, recording this season on Zoom. So we're going to get like texts and notifications and your computer's doing things. And we're just going to roll with it. So everyone just embrace it. And please like this video when you're done.
Thank you. Yes.
So we're going to talk about all things Felicia and the road crew. But before we do that, I'm kind of like going back to like the roots. I kind of want to know what Felicia as a little girl was like. Like, what was your upbringing? Where were you born and raised? That fun stuff.
I had an interesting upbringing, but I was actually born in California. And then when I was 2, so my mom was pretty young when she had me. She was a teenager. And my parents got married and then got divorced when I was 2. And my mom left California and came to Minneapolis. And then I have been here ever since.
So you are not a native, but honestly, your roots are here. You were basically here.
But yeah, so I was raised by kind of a single mom my whole life. So struggles, good and bad. So I've had kind of some unique situations in my life, but my mom actually is one of my favorite people in the world. And I just look at how she sort of, when you talk about Wonder Woman, my mom and I actually went to college at the same time. So just to see somebody kind of make a decision later in life to better their life, it sort of taught me that if you're willing to work for something, anything is possible.
Amazing. Where did you go to school? Where did your mom go to school?
We both went to the U. So I went to the U of M, so did she, and then she got her master's at St. Kate's. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's good. Talk about that experience. What was that like going to school at the same time with your mom?
Well, we weren't living together. I was living at the dorm. Okay. But just the fact that I think, we were very poor growing up, and, my dad was not involved. So my mom didn't get child support. We didn't have extended family. It was just my mom and I. And so to see someone make a decision I was at an older age where I could understand it, that you can better your circumstances at any time, that you don't have to be 19, 20. I mean, she did it, in her 30s, really, and we put ourselves through college. I mean, so there wasn't the same kind of financial aid. Those things weren't available to the level that they maybe are now. And so it was just a big deal for me to see someone, to know that it was possible to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just very grateful for her and just for that role model.
Is that your mom texting you?
Well, actually, she did. Her stove just broke. Okay, I'm not kidding.
Oh, no.
Like, I'm not even kidding right now. And
okay. Well, that's okay. We'll keep going. But if mom calls, answer it.
Really annoying. I just need to say, don't stop texting me.
This is what we're doing. You can shut your volume off.
Yeah, good idea.
2020, right? We're just gonna rock with this. So you and mom rocked it out, the two of you. You went to the U at college together, obviously different majors, and you weren't living at home with your mom. But
no.
What about that experience has kind of resonated with you today and in your household? Like, first of all, let's talk about your household, you and who you live with. Like, who's under your roof today?
Yes. Okay. So I have been married for 15 years. And I am a stepmama to 2 really wonderful girls. My baby is Haley. Well, she's 19. She started college this year, but she was 4 when I met her dad. And then Jessica, who is going to be 30 this year. And so I am also a grandma. So I'm Nana Felicia. So I got some little ones in my life. And then I have a dog named Xander, a rat terrier Chihuahua.
How big is he?
He's 6 pounds. And
he's a little guy.
Yeah, he's an interesting little guy. This whole COVID thing, he's, just being home all the time.
Yeah.
It's been sort of like, he's so attached that it's a little weird.
I've heard stories about people's pets going through depression and things like that. So shout out to him.
Oh, he loves me being here, but he thinks he owns me now. I'm in the pack. So it's been fun though. So yeah, so I have lots of kids in my world, which is fantastic. So I feel
Yeah.
very, very blessed to have kind of the situation that I have as a step parent. I have good relationships with my children, their mom, it's really a good situation.
You entered their lives probably when they were young then, if you've been together for 15 years, right? If Haley is 19, what
Been
she was
married, but we dated prior to that. So she was
amazing.
3 when I met my husband.
Oh
So
my gosh, you've been such a prominent figure in her life. How has your experiences with your mom being just the two of you growing up kind of integrated into your relationship with the kids in the family? Have you seen experiences come out that, might be healing for you, or has it just like inspired certain things that you and your husband are doing?
I think for me, it's one of those things where I just have such a good relationship, and it's very different with both of the girls. Like for Haley, it's definitely more parental because she was little and Jessica was a teenager. So it's a little bit more of a friendship there. But I think I feel like for a step parent situation, we've got the best situation you could have for a blended family. So these kids had a lot of people that loved them. And for me, coming from a small family, being able to be a part of a larger extended family, and it sounds really weird because I wouldn't want divorce on anyone because that's the situation for my husband, but we sort of had this automatic balance in our marriage because we didn't have kids every weekend. So I felt like it made it really a really good situation for me. I spent every weekend with the girls and it was all about them when they're here. You know what I mean? So it just became just a really special situation for me with both of them. I have a great relationship with them.
Oh, I'm so
I
happy.
love them. I mean, I am the ride and die. I'm their biggest cheerleader for sure.
Speaking of cheerleaders, hi, the whole season. That is such like an immaculate situation to be in, and obviously none of that is going to come easy overnight. I'm sure you guys have had your fair share, but ideally, that's kind of like the best circumstance, right? Is to have a good relationship with them.
Coming from a place where I didn't, I had such a very, it was a lot of challenges. All I wanted for the girls was to know that they were loved and that all the other stuff is about adults. You know what I mean? So really to try to keep that stuff separate from them. And I think we all agreed and we all did it. And because of that, we've got a well-adjusted kids. You know what I mean? And they're happy.
Good job. Yeah.
So, and the kids are the ones that matter. That's it.
Aww.
So yeah, so I feel really, really blessed because it's, I don't know what it feels like to have a child and share that child with someone else. So I knew no matter what the situation was with my husband and his ex-wife, that was between the two of them. She deserved to know me, deserved my respect because that's her daughter. You know what I mean? And that was what mattered to me. The rest of it can sit at the door. And it did, and it worked out really well.
Well, that is such a great mentality. And if it worked for you guys, awesome. I mean, that's such a good figure to even demonstrate and role model to them, because as they grow on in their lifestyles, like they'll have this as a foundation to refer back to, and whatever doesn't work for them, they'll probably try to tweak. I mean, that's just how we all grow.
Absolutely. Haley's mom is a divorce attorney and owns her own law firm. So she's surrounded by 2 women that have their own businesses, that work hard, so it's a good thing.
See, warrior women and Wonder Women all around. But isn't that how it should be, though? I mean, just cheer each other on. And not every situation is going to be ideal like that, but if we can, let's all work together a little bit more and cheer each other on.
But I was the outsider, and I felt like I see a lot of situations where, people don't handle it that way, and that's you need to put your stuff at the door and make it about the kid. We're adults, so.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the biz life. I mean, juggling a family with owning a business. Let's talk about the Twin Cities Road Crew. What is the Twin Cities Road Crew? What do you guys do?
So we do all kinds of things, but like we talked about, we are a strategic marketing company. So really the goal for us is to work with businesses that have some type of an initiative or a pro-social message, or maybe they've got a public awareness campaign going and they are looking for creative ways to sort of bring that message to life, whether it's to youth, like in a school setting, or even out in the community. And really what we do is strategize with them on ways that we can do that. That's really fun and impactful. We have a very specific platform that we use to facilitate. We use kind of entertainment as our platform. And we work with a really unique, cool group of people. So when you see like someone out at a community event handing out brochures, they usually hire like a brand ambassador. But our people, we call them the Twin Cities Road Crew because they're really talented. A lot of them have theater background or some kind of local notoriety, and they really bring something special to the table when they are out and about, kind of representing people's companies, and it's pretty great. I feel really happy about what I do.
I love what you guys do. And I was part of the road crew for about a year or so. So that was kind of fun, learning different scripts, going to school assemblies, doing really fun events like going to Pride, and just the different experiential marketing pop-ups that you guys do was phenomenal. So when people and companies want to work with you, like how do you find them? How do they find you? Like what does that collaboration look like?
You know, it's really unique. I mean, I think what I've noticed is that just usually when we are out and about doing an event and I may see a business that is trying really hard to engage and not doing the best job, and a lot of times I find that the companies that we work with are companies that they have a budget, they have a mission, but they have very small bandwidth. Like even if it's within a large organization, their department is one person, two people. And so they really have a lot to handle. And so the people that you see out at the events for them are like the accountant that's working on Saturday because they need someone at the event. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
But that's the reality, right?
It is. And so what I notice is I look for that, and then usually people will see us at events and say, what are you? Because people really usually don't quite know what we are. Are we the business that are you health partners? That's the client. They don't really, which is good. That's what we want because we're there to represent other people's brands. But so it's usually like that, or word of mouth, or clearly you can find us online. But usually people see us because it's hard to explain what we do without having a visual.
Yeah, so when you guys are on site at an event, I know this, but I'd love to have you share it. What does that physical display look like when somebody is at an event like Pride? What do they see?
So I think it just depends on the client. It really depends on what the mission is. But I think in general, our platform is we use sort of an entertainment platform, which means music, games, dancing, DJs, MCs to sort of bring a message to life. So for instance, if the message is health and wellness, then maybe you'll see us doing all kinds of games and different things to sort of pull people into our space that has that sort of underlying message. And it works really, really well. It's very subtle. We tend to mostly work with companies that are really promoting some type of initiative or message or service. It's very rare that we are working with companies to like sell the latest Diet Coke or those types of things. Those are more traditional, I guess, brand ambassador type things. But so ours is a little bit non-traditional in that way. And I think it works really well with our platform. So it's really engaging. Like when you were at Pride, the goal was really to promote the importance of, you know, living a tobacco-free life. And so we created sort of a club scene, but during the day. Like, so we had karaoke and music and dancing, and our crew dances, and we're interacting with people. And we had like a free t-shirt station that you cut up your own shirt, and all the stuff was free and interactive, and it just pulls people in. And then it gives us an opportunity to chat with them about whatever the message is.
And so inclusive, so inclusive. I mean, talk about that. I mean, Pride, of course, is LGBTQI, and then you have youth. You're at the schools doing assemblies for like financial literacy and talking about corn and all sorts of agriculture. I mean, it's so cool to me. So props to you guys on that. How did you even go from what were you studying in college to creating the road? I know you guys have
my degree actually is in psychology and business, so it works very well for what I'm doing. But, you know, I used to work for the Walt Disney Company. In fact, all of us did. My business partner and my 2 employees, we all came from that space and sort of did this kind of work for them. And one day we all got laid off from our jobs. And it was really interesting. We sat on a conference call with about 1,000 people, and we fired pretty much. But they, you know, we had stuff going, so they asked us to stay on for a couple of months to facilitate our events. And in the process of letting our clients know what was happening, my business partner and I, we were coworkers at the time. We're just getting that same reaction of, what are we going to do? Nobody does what you do. Nobody does it like you guys do. So we called Disney and said, how would you feel if we took over the promotional piece of the business? They said, go ahead, because we're not going to be doing it anywhere. And Then we asked the staff if they wanted to work for us, and then we went to the clients and said, how do you feel about working with us without the Disney brand? And they all said yes. So, I mean, everyone. So it was really one of those things where like, I lost a job on Friday and on Monday I had a business.
You and Ben, shout out to Ben, have just like
Yes.
rocked it. Wow.
It was really weird, but it worked. And I mean, we almost 6 years later, we're still here. But you know, it's really rare that you start a business with staff that knows how to do the job, clients that with contract signed. So all we had to do was figure out how to run the business part.
Yeah. Well, and this was so different because like it was being that part, it was being discontinued. Like there was no longer going to be even like a competitive nature to even sign a non-compete. So, and how intimate, like a family base was that, right? How cool.
It was great. And they hired us when they came to do something at the fair, because to work with Disney, there's a lot of rules and really specific things that you need to know, and we clearly know them. So they've hired us a couple of times, which was really great too. So it's really a fantastic story, and I feel really blessed.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's a youth there's a lot of youth centric messaging in there. So when you're talking about like all the things that you and your husband are doing at home, parenting, now the girls are older, obviously they're adults, but growing for them being brought up in your house and you working with youth and all these different client projects, like where was the overlap with what you wanted the kids in the audience to know versus like how you integrated that into parenting? Does that kind of make sense?
Okay, wait, say that again. The
It was a lot. It was just so you have the things that you guys are working on with your client projects.
Yeah.
And then your passion for working with like the road crew and then all the different multi-talents. And then you have like your family and the messages that you guys are talking about in the family. Like, did you ever see an overlap or like kind of what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's kind of interesting just when we were just talking about like even the financial literacy stuff, like kids don't learn that in school. My daughter never got a class on credit or how to balance a checkbook. I mean, nothing in high school. And so some of those things, and even we're doing a bunch of stuff on being energy conservation and being able to bring that stuff home because I'm learning a lot about it. And so, yeah, I gave her a credit class, you know what I mean? And I did, you know, and we had her, like, I took a lot of that information and I do bring it home quite a bit. And I also use her as a sounding board quite a bit, like, especially when she was younger, when we were putting together different projects. Yeah. Like, how would you feel if we brought this to your school? Like, what would this be? And she's worked for me a little bit. Oh, that's so cool. I mean, so I've had her friends come over and kind of go through some of the content just to see how they feel about it. And so, yeah, so it's been kind of collaborative, you know, in that way. And also, I think some of the things I've learned I brought to the table for her, and it's been pretty great.
I like that. I like that the collaborative piece of it is like obviously on the work front, but
yeah, like, what's the cool music? I need some dances. You know, I mean, she helps me with all of that stuff. She did when she was younger. So
good. Okay, so tell me about
young kids. So now they're doing it for us.
Oh, I love it. Now, 2020 has been a wild journey, and by the time people watch this, it's going to be January 2021. So we're not going to focus on COVID a whole lot, but when it comes to just all the different things from when you and Ben and the 998 other people were on a call and getting that like blow to the face about, oh, hey, sorry, we're taking away your job, from the moment that what you're facing like today, what has been like one or two big obstacles that have just like swept you off your feet and you're like, holy baloney.
I do events in schools and in large event settings. So my entire business stopped 100%. It ended. Done. I mean, like literally, and I was in Mexico when this started. So I left my office and said goodbye to my employees and everything was fine. And I came home and I never saw them again. So it was pretty horrible. I mean, literally awful. Like I don't ever I'm like I love my job. My phone is on. I own the business. Like that's the deal. But once a year I go on vacation and I shut it down. So I shut it down. I didn't look at my phone, nothing. But a day before we were coming home, I turned on my phone and it was just canceled. I'm like, what is happening? Because, the school programs were canceling on my calendar. So finally I called my business partner and he's like, I didn't call you because there's nothing you could do and it would ruin your trip, But yeah, so I never went back to the office. We had to lay our staff off over Zoom. I mean, it was awful. And Ben and I were on this 5-year plan and we had made it. I mean, it was on point and it just was gone. So it was pretty terrible.
Oh my God.
And, and at the time we didn't, we couldn't get any help, financially. And it was, we have a business spot, we have vans, we have a lot of things. So I just thought, okay, this is not going to work out for us. Like, and at first it was like, okay, maybe it'll be fine in a couple of weeks. And then a couple of weeks would go by. And then I think we had events canceled. I think altogether we had about 125 events and school programs canceled in like a month time. So we both were just, the one thing that I am is very resilient. And I have this sort of thought process that I get a day or two to sort of wallow, and then you got to man up and figure out what you're going to do. I mean, that's just how I have been raised. And so I did. And we're like, okay, what do we do? How do we fix this? And we go into schools. How can we deliver this program to a school without physically being there? Yeah. So we went to our clients that we had these contracts with that we couldn't fulfill because we still had a lot of programs left. And we had such good relationships with them that we just pitched them an idea and they said, go ahead and try it. So,
and they were probably like desperate too, because their whole world got flipped upside down.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's a big, these are big, some of our contracts were pretty big, and the fact that they sort of let us do it and they didn't even sort of check on us, they just said, okay, we trust you. And so we created digital programs. So we used to go into schools and do assemblies for 300 or 400 kids, and they were 45-minute, really game show style, interactive. We use music and dance to bring a message to the table, super fun. And so we created an interactive digital show that could be supplied to schools, and they're free to schools. And so we contacted a handful of schools and superintendents to get their feedback, and they all were like, we would love something like this for the kids. So either A, you could use it in the classroom on like a small setting, or B, if kids were virtually learning. So we had to sort of, I've never filmed a television show before. I don't know how to do that, but we did it, and it worked really well. I think we did over 100 programs that we had, I think altogether 20,000 kids watch our programs and we did it in 2 months.
That feels so good. 20,000, like, would you have touched 20,000, like reach that many students? If
we would have been close, but maybe about 14,000, maybe 50, if we would have done it the traditional way. But because we used a digital platform before, we would have to get all the teachers in classrooms to sort of figure out how they could meet in that assembly space all at the same time. But now with the digital platform, they can show it whenever it works for them. So it really allowed more students to be able to see it. And then all the schools got like an activity sheet that was interactive that went with it. And then we delivered kind of these fun activity bags to each school. So then families, when they went to pick up stuff once a month, would get a bag from Corn or from CUNY, whoever we were working with.
Yeah.
Really, really great. And we had teachers videotape and send us video of them using it in the classroom, using it on Zoom, kids dancing on Zoom to our program. I mean, it was fantastic.
How do you guys, that's incredible. So it's free to the schools, but like, how do you get paid? How is that funded?
We have it underwritten by different clients. So depending on what the message is. So we just renewed a client with Corn. Okay. So we're going to be doing we're going to be adding on to that program. We're going to continue with the program we have, and then we're going to do some additional content and things that are geared towards a little bit older group. Sure. And then we're working with Community Action of Hennepin County to do a program on energy conservation. So we've got those. And then also I think we're going to be working with a bank on financial literacy. So we've got sort of 3 programs in the works in February that we'll be recording and doing a digital platform for.
What a massive challenge, and at the same token has provided so much opportunity that maybe otherwise it just wouldn't have come to the table, or not at this point until
I never would have done it. I could never would have thought of it ever, because I feel like what we do in person is so phenomenal that no one would have changed my mind.
Yeah, and that's, and you'll go back to that soon enough, right? Because that's like, it's such a token. I mean, the assemblies are so fun to do in the school, both for the staff and the team, but also the teachers probably appreciate it, the parents probably appreciate it, the kids, it breaks up their day. Like, how fun.
Yeah, fantastic. But I'll say that, I think for us, it's opened up a vision of being able to do this on a national level, that we're not stuck in the Twin Cities. So I think locally, yes, if kids are able to be in a room together with 300 or 400 kids ever again, yes, we're there. But to be able to have both, I think for us is really huge.
The TC Road crew going on the road, like how
I know, right? So it's really great. And our outreach, we had to really make some changes with that as well. So we did a lot of very COVID-friendly type of events, and those went really well too. So we pivoted. I know that's the word. It drives me a little crazy these days, but I mean, we did, and we still are. But we are still here, and I feel like it's probably one of the biggest accomplishments that we have done is to be able to turn things around so quickly. And pretty much it's like starting a new business. I mean, it's like starting over, doing things.
In like moments time, like you guys have had just a mere couple of months to even figure that out. So that's a huge success. The other thing I wanted to ask on the flip side of challenges is what has been one of your biggest or most prominent or proud moments, like in life, personal, professional, whatever, where you were just like so dang proud of yourself for overcoming a challenge or
yeah, I mean, I think this was probably one of them. I really felt like we might not survive this. And so I think this was probably one of the things that I'm most proud that we've done. For sure, 100%.
Good. Sure. If you could go back to your 16-year-old self and tell Felicia at 16 some things about life or some advice based on what you've experienced as of today, where you are at today, who you are today, like what would you go back and tell that 16-year-old girl?
That is an interesting question. A lot of things. I don't know if that 16-year-old girl would listen to anybody, but you know what's really weird is the one thing also that has come out of this year for me is kind of I've been on this sort of wellness kick, and I think I realized that wellness is something that can start really young. And I think the one thing which was not a message we heard was the importance of self-care and your health. Back when, you know, I'm a little older than you. So back in the day, you know, that just wasn't a message. You know, I mean, the only message you got was vanity messaging. You know, so yeah. I feel like that is something, because I think those are habits, the younger you start them, the better they are, and you know, internally, and that just affects you across the board.
Sure does.
So I definitely think that whole self-care thing is something that I would have wanted to get some better habits and just that type of thing as a younger person.
And I don't think any 16-year-old girl could hear enough of it, because women in their 30s all the way to 70, 80, 90s could, you know, still benefit from hearing it. Yeah, and you have kind of a fun little project that you're working on. You have a podcast. You have this whole other element besides the amazing road crew that you spend so much of your heart and soul in. Talk about your podcast and what you're doing there.
Yeah, that was like the one thing that I've done for myself. I don't do a lot for myself because I work a lot, and my job is also a passion, and I work nights and weekends. And so I was really excited. I actually, part of my sort of commitment to myself was really kind of getting a hold of my health. At my age, it's a different challenge. And so I used Instagram just for inspiration and to find recipes. I love cooking and those types of things. And I found someone on Instagram that I started to follow, and she lost a lot of weight, and she lived here in Minneapolis, which is very rare that you find someone that actually lives in the same town. Sure. And so we actually met in person when Oprah came. And in last January.
Oh,
and yeah. So we met like after in person, and we decided to start a podcast together called Wellness for Real Podcast.
Oh, the two of you did.
Mm-hmm. Oh my so God. That's kind of, it was really something that, you know, she had talked about, and I'm like, I want to do a podcast and I want my own talk show. So we just both were like that, because we're at different ages and our journeys are a little bit different, and we both had, I think, something to bring to the table and share with people. And so I love it. I mean, I've only been doing it for maybe 3 months, but we've had about, I think, 15 or 16,000 people listen so far. And I've, you know, been able to have a lot of guests on, people that I follow that have huge followings that I'm like, why would you want to come on our show? But I'm going to ask you anyways.
Why not?
Well, I don't know. A lot of these people are real busy, you know, that's their jobs, you know, like.
Oh, sister, you own it. You own it. And you know what? I think maybe Oprah.
Yes. They said yes. I mean, it was really exciting for me. Like people that I like follow, that like food bloggers, like we've had some really incredible people on the show.
Okay, what's it called again? The podcast?
Wellness for Real Podcast.
What? Wellness for Real. And where can we find it?
It's pretty much on every platform, Spotify, iTunes, like you can pretty much find it anywhere.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I feel like Oprah should just be honest, since like the two of you met, you went like you were at the Oprah thing and it's all wellness and she's all about wellness. I just feel like Oprah needs to be on your
It's
show.
really been great, and it's evolved into not just your like physical, like the health and wellness angle, but your financial health, your mental health. Like, so we have all kinds of different people
Yeah.
on the show to talk a little bit about all those different things.
Okay.
So we're very real
Okay.
on the
Well,
podcast.
we need it. Like, let's not sugarcoat stuff.
Yeah.
That's the problem is we've been eating too much sugar. So we need
Yeah,
to just.
so that's the deal. So it's great. I love it, and it's something I do for me. It's not anything more than a passion. So
Good job. Okay, everyone, check out Wellness for Real. How can we support you, Felicia, the road crew, your podcast, all the things? How can we support you?
I would just say that, if you see us on Instagram, tag us, share us. I mean, if you see something fun that we're doing, just let people know. And I mean, I think that's it, really. I mean, and also I would say part of the thing that's really important to us is to support young artists. So a lot of our staff are independent contractors, and they are dancers, theater majors. Right now it's terrible. They can't do a whole lot. But we usually hire people like that, and we pay them very well. And they need jobs that are flexible, that they can leave and come back to. So if there's someone out there that's got some skills, you're not afraid to be in front of people, or someone, send them our way, because hopefully come springtime, we'll be needing a lot more crew.
Great.
So,
Save the arts, support the artists. I like that.
really important to me that there's a place for young people to work and have a consistent job, even if they have to leave a month here, a month there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and some of your road crew MCs are like really good friends of mine, and several of them just had babies. Like,
Yes.
still be moms and MC. Like, we can rock a mic, maybe even better than before. Who knows?
You'll be working some of my events, I'm telling you.
You guys have some work to do. You got to follow Felicia. Where can we follow? Where can we
Okay,
support
follow
you?
us on Instagram, Twin Cities Road Crew, and we have a Facebook. You can follow us there as well, and you can also follow my Wellness for Real podcast on Instagram. It's just Wellness for Real podcast.
Awesome. And I'll put all of that stuff in the footnotes. Thank you so much for chatting with me. I could go on and on and on and on. We're not quite done yet. I'm going to add you or ask you a couple of speed round fun questions. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. You have 1 second to think of an answer. It's got to be quick. Would you rather glamp or camp?
Glamp, please. Yeah.
Would you rather go on a cruise or a beach vacation?
A beach vacation.
Yeah.
Ever.
Are you more of a coffee person or a wine person?
Probably wine. I don't drink coffee every day, so.
Okay.
Every day, but.
If you had to eat one food every day for the rest of your life,
Pizza.
what would you eat? Pizza?
I'm
every day.
About pizza.
Would you rather eat pizza or tacos?
Pizza.
What's your favorite recipe to make? I know you love cooking and adding cultural recipes.
I'm not kidding, I have every way to make a pizza. I have a baking steel, I have an outside pizza maker, I have an indoor pizza maker, I make my homemade pizza dough, and I have this really yummy skinny pizza dough recipe, and it's my one of my favorite things to make. But my mom is half Italian, half Mexican, so food is a big part of my culture, and I do like to make a little lasagna once in a while. It just takes a couple of days. So
that must be one hell of a good lasagna.
It's my grandma's recipe. You have to make the sauce for 2 days. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, girlfriend. I appreciate you chatting and for all you do and all your resiliency. For you guys, follow HitaTalk, like me all over the socials, and get to know Felicia a little bit more. Check her out at the Twin Cities MomSquad.com. You'll see her profile and all the links to her good stuff. Until then, thanks, Felicia. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.